want some new boxers, bruv.
Yeah.
You want some new pants, mate. We're at Oulton Park for round 5 of Time Attack. Again, just like in the last video, I don't know how we made it. We left Brands Hatch in the final having lost quite a lot of coolant, and we took the car back. We also looked at the data and found really high air intake temperatures, 67 degrees I think it hit in the final. And yeah, so we took the car away. I actually changed the intercooler to a different intercooler that night, and then we bought the car here. So on the Monday, after the weekend of Brands Hatch, we came here, and I did sighting laps. There was no other coolant issue, so we assumed it was an expansion tank cap issue because it wasn't genuine. So took it out, did sighting laps, fine. Went out to go and start pushing the car on. First lap, first corner, the lower arm broke on this side, which, well, almost put me into the barrier. It took me off the grass. Unfortunately, I didn't get it on camera. Probably got some clips of bits going on, being played somewhere. So yeah, not ideal. So then we had to get some lower arms made because the company that made the ones that were on the car doesn't exist anymore. So luckily Chris at Noble Motorsport helped us out with a set of lower arms he had made for his car, got them powder coated, and we headed up to Noble Motorsport for him to sort that out. So we are at Noble Motorsport. We came here to just fit my lovely new lower arms. Let me just flip the camera around, which are a big upgrade from the old ones. I've got one over here. I can sort of put them side by side for a second. I mean, look at the size of these pins. Stainless, look at the size of the rose joint in comparison. Yeah, so big improvements here. He's had these powder coated for me as well, top man. And as always with this car, as always, you're probably already noticing, oh, we got some problems. So, Chris noticed as soon as we got it up on the ramps, a crack. Looking from the side, the bottom of my suspension feet. Now this has happened before. This happened many years ago, 2018 I think. And so Nitron sorted me out with some new ones, which they're gonna do again for me, but we're at Brands Hatch tonight. But look at that. I don't know if the camera's doing that twist justice. That is twisted. So yeah, we're actually gonna go see if we can get them in the different design, which luckily Chris has just lying about. These are my Nitron R3s, as we can see, remote reservoir. Chris just happened to have some Nitron R1s here with, oh look, the feet we need, and more robust in a place, so ideal. Plan was just to swap them over to there, but you can't because the hose is attached and the shock won't go through the hose, the reservoir, sorry, and you can't undo it unless you've got the right stuff to regas it, so no, couldn't do that. So, mine off the car, and you'll see that Chris has swapped the springs round and kindly put his on my car. So, we've had to swap the top mounts onto standard type top mounts because, again, as nothing is easy on this car, mine are sort of threaded and totally different on the piston apparently, so you can't just bolt between the two, they are completely different. So we're going for these temporarily so that we can get these fixed. So again, shout out to Chris for lending me his spare suspension, seeing as it's not being used in his car right this minute. So yeah, I mean, the hose is a bit tired, and you know, they could no doubt do with the service. So we'll get them down to Nitron anyway. But we've had broken, bent anti-roll bar bolt. It was totally bent from where it twisted in the arch, so had to cut that off. We fitted a new one again, robbed off of his car, thank you very much. Basically been just robbing this car for bits to fix mine so that we can go to Brands tonight. But yeah, not been ideal. So after Noble Motorsport, we brought the car over to Brands Hatch, which didn't go to plan. We got there late, about 7 p.m. Took the car out for a warm-up session, if you'd like. Didn't lean on it. It held all its coolant. Everything seemed fine. The lower arms were working well. The suspension that we just borrowed from Chris was a little bit bouncy, but we nipped up the compression, and that seemed to sort that out, so that was fine. Went back out again for another session, pushed on with the car, and I just flicked my eyes down on like the second hot lap because I saw something red. And I just saw coolant temperature 117 or thereabouts, and just like, oh no. Backed off, took the car around, cooled it down, got it down to like 90 before I brought it into the pits. So I thought, oh, it's not that bad, maybe, you know, maybe the expansion tank or something. And brought it in, and it lost most of its coolant. We smelt the caps, and you could smell fuel. So initial sort of suspicion is that it's lifted the head, it's actually stretched the head bolts. This was a second-hand engine, an unknown engine, well built, but you don't know. Started out like, yeah, fucking stinks of fuel. Yeah, mate, see all that fuel evaporating off my fucking alternator? Where the fuck is that coming from? So anyway, the plan was then, get the car apart. We got it down to Giz Motorsport. He said, look, get it down to me and I'll get on it straight away, which he did, in fairness to him. So we got the head off the car, and cylinder 1 cracked. Got a clip of that here.
You're not going to be happy. It's correct. It's because it's only got a pin in it, not a full wedge, so it's still flexed it, and it's done the block. The rest ain't looking too bad.
Yeah, Ash took the car back, lifted the head, cylinder 1's cracked, and initial thoughts were, right, let's get your other engine, which the trigger wheel cracked on, picture. Let's get that back together, and then we can just put that back in the car. Brilliant. So the other problem with that engine is that one of the main caps broke. And lots of engines knocking about. I have like 3 there, and he has lots of others. Tried every main cap from every engine, and they were just far too far out on the tolerances. We didn't have time for machine works on a new one. So at this point, it was sort of, the decision was made. We either skip the round or we get another engine. So back on the phone to Toby, Section 32 Motorsport. He supplied us with another engine. This one, unfortunately, all he had really in stock was what we would call a rod job, which means it's a standard VXR engine, standard pistons. It's got forged rods in it, and it's got Piper springs and mic cams in it. Other than that, it's bone stock. So I've never run a forged engine built to such a low standard, so we had to compromise on power. So this it was mapped to 450, and then actually it was turned down a tiny bit down from that, just like a 0.1 of a bar, just for sort of safety, basically. And now we've also put ignition cut on the engine on overboost, because this one couldn't take any overboost at all, and it would probably drop its bottom end all over the track. So, sorry, I've got something in my eye. Yeah, so basically another engine had to be sourced. Got that, had to drive to Shropshire, then across the country to Skegness, and then back home, which was like 9-10 hours of driving, which was fun. Ash then got the engine in the car. We went and picked it up on Wednesday, and then brought it back straight to Midnight Motorsport, who then did the geometry on it and just checked over the brakes and a couple of other bits and bobs on the car on Thursday night. And then we picked it up today, Friday, the day before Time Attack, and have driven up to Oulton Park. We're here now. And yeah, just did a little modification to the airbox area for the, just to try and keep some of the heat that seems to get sucked from this manifold over to this side of the engine bay, because it's actually melted this part of the grille. So there'll be some clips from that, I'm sure. But yeah, basically we've had to replace lower arms, we've had bent suspension, 2 snap drive shaft, we shredded tyres on the dyno, we've replaced intercooler setup temporarily to try that out. We've had to box in the induction. We've had another engine put in the car. That's not it either. There's a leak on the fuel pressure regulator. And there'll be the cause of our fuel leak. And some other bits. I forget there's been so much stuff that's gone wrong. But it is together. It's here. It's running at like 9/10, which is better than not running at all, or what we had to deal with at Brands. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I've only been here once, but I do love this track. We've got some stiff competition with single round entries, which obviously doesn't matter for the championship, but there's a GT3, GT3 RS, a Noble, Area Motorsport. Rob Baker's bought his own Golf down here, who built Luke Woodhouse's car, or modified, spec that up. So yeah, there's some fast drivers and some fast equipment out tomorrow. Edit that out. And it's going to make for an interesting round 5. But looking forward to it, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. So good morning, we are at Oulton Park, ready for round 5. It's a little bit of a change compared to the weather that we had yesterday when we dropped the car off, but it was always a bit suspect for the rain today. So it's meant to stay a little bit like this, a little bit drizzly mostly this morning, and then really rain this afternoon. So I'm just gonna make the best of it and see how we get on. Car's running, everyone's here, we're all good. So we're just gonna see what today brings.
How's it going?
It's going alright, it's just a long old queue waiting for scrutineering, man.
How long you been here for already?
At least 10 minutes, minimum.
So it's been about 2 hours?
Yeah, something like that. No, it always takes a little while because there's only like 3 people doing it and they have to check over every single car. So it does take a while, and there's a lot of extra competition this round. So we've just had warm up. We've just been out for probably a 10-minute session. First time out in the car since we put this lower spec engine in it. And my God, did it feel like I was down on power. The car felt almost NA. But you know, it is what it is. We've got to make do for this round. This is the power we've got available to us. So we could just really hope we can get this upper engine back in before the next round. I did a 53, which is all right. I think it puts us 4th in class in the championship, but you know, some of the single round entries were just doing 49s, 50s, something like that. So you know, which is where we should be. We should be in the 50s. So going to take it back out in the next session, push on a bit harder. I've just reminded myself of the track because, like I say, I've only been here the once before. I've got least experience here out of everywhere, but I do love it immediately. I was having great fun. Apart from the Garmin falling out and me being like, where's the power at? It was good. So yeah, we're just going to let the car cool down, wait for the drift championship to go out, and then we'll be doing our practice session in about the next sort of half an hour, 45 minutes. So fingers crossed we can go faster. Oh my God, I'm so stuck now. Well, we're back from practice session and not good again. The car did the same thing. Went okay for a few laps, then started overheating. Come in and it's blowing coolant out of the tank, which to us suggests that it's lifting the head on the temporary engine. because it feels super slow as well. And I watched the boost level on that one, and we hit 0.9 bar. We just checked the logs. It's not gone over a bar of boost. Bear in mind, this is set up to 1.8, 1.85, I think, on this engine to run 450. So we're nowhere near that. So that's where I'm feeling down on power. I am. But the question is whether we've got a leak on the pipework or if it's lifting the head. If it's lifting the head, it's basically game over today. We can run it again. We can continue to drive it, but it will, you know, because this engine's coming out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it will continue to pull coolant out of it. And limit us to like sort of 4 laps. If it is boost pipe work, then it's something we can probably address today. But the fact that the coolant's going is telling me that we've got other issues. So just going to make the best of what we can for today. We do what we do, and then this will probably have to be one of our drop rounds, because the way it works is we've got 8 rounds in time attack, and you score your 6 best points. So, you know, unless we get third in the next 2 sessions, this will be our worst point scoring round. So this will have to be our drop round. So it is what it is. We're just going to make do. It's a shame because it was a lot of work to get the car done to get it here, but we have a plan of attack ready. This engine was only ever temporarily, so it's just a shame it didn't last a day, really. And that's it. We're just going to have lunch now, check the pipe work out, see if we can see anything obvious, and then if not, we'll just run it again for qualifying.
What's going on in your wheel arch at the moment then?
Nothing to be seen here. That is a little overflow pipe that we've got going from basically where it's blowing the coolant out. It's going into my footwell. It's also going into the wheel arch and it's getting under the wheel, which is why I think we had a pretty big moment in the last session. So we've routed a pipe from the overflow down into a big bottle. So A, we can see how much it's blown out in the 3 laps we're going to do, and B, we can contain it so it doesn't go over the track for myself and other people.
Legit.
It's fair enough. It's temporary.
Temporary.
back in from qualifying now for a little bit. We've just been looking at some stuff on the car. It held its coolant for a bit longer that time, so I was able to get sort of 4 laps in. Did like 3 laps, brought it in, checked tyre pressures, was like, I'm going to take it out for 1 more, just send it, and luckily it was enough to, I think, take 3rd place in qualifying. So only just by like 1,000th of a second, so it's really close between me and Stu. And yeah, but it was a bit of a dramatic experience. It took me about an hour for my arms to recover from trying to wrestle the steering wheel. We basically had no power steering for most of the laps. You'll see the in-car footage. I had a massive moment, a big off on like the opening lap, just because the power steering unexpectedly for the first time stopped working on me. The car went straight when I went to turn, and the awkwardness of the situation just put me in the point where I basically had no choice but to stop braking, turn the wheel, and see what happened. What happened was us sliding off, crossing the track, managing to catch it and getting back on. So could have been worse, but we were close to crashing a few times on that. It was hard work. It's the hardest it's ever been to drive that car, to try and extract the lap time out of it, because you've just got no power steering, technical circuit, and it's just hard work. So amazing again that we managed to even score some half decent points, but this is so miles off the pace of the car, and we've got a big old list to sort out. So we're just going to take it out again in the final, try and manage like another 3 or 4 laps maybe, if the coolant allows it, and if my arms allow it, because it's hard work. And like I say, we got close to crashing, so do what we can. If we can get enough for 3rd, amazing, but I think it is what it is, and we're just going to have to see what happens in the final. Hopefully not quite as traumatic as qualifying. But I put myself offline, and it was just a series of bad things that happened, and then that was a series of moments that 60% of that was no power steering and me just tried.
Which is more stripped out, great little track. If you're Birmingham, this
Oh hi Leah.
Oh, hi Luke.
Oh hi mate.
How's it going?
Not as well as I'd hoped, mate.
Why not?
Why not? We've got no power, and we've got no power steer. There's just nothing with power work.
Power steering is for rookies.
Power steering is for pussies, right?
Yeah.
I'm a fucking pussy, man. I can't handle this. Oh, but yeah, we've only got the final now, so we'll just try and keep it on the black stuff, right?
Do that. Or cut some grass.
No, I cut a bit of grass earlier, and I scooped up a bit of gravel as well. So I've had my little dip. That was fine. Send it.
We know you went second. Obviously, then we celebrated, and then Summers' picture. Motherfucker. By like 6,000.
I was out of fuel, out of temperature, everything. Oh my god. So sweaty. You carried on the hot lap, I think. No, I didn't see it though. Did you have a big moment?
Yeah, I kept it in.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that one.
Now for Club 2-Wheel Drive. In third place, it's Luke Capehorn.
Yay!
In second, it's Stu Summers. And today's Club 2-Wheel Drive winner is Luke Woodhouse.
Hold on, buddy.
You did. Next up.
That's it. Finals done. Oulton Park's over. It's been an emotional roller coaster of a round. Similar to Brands in that way, really, where you're just fighting the car not working properly. We had, like I said earlier, 0.9 bar, like no power. So I'm trying to make up for that by trying to carry as much speed as I dare in so many of these corners. What made things a little bit interesting in the final is it started to spit and it made the track lightly damp, which I feel like made few people a bit more cautious. We seem to be a lot more on pace with cars and overtaking cars, even down on power, because we had good traction. These tyres are very good in the wet and the car's quite balanced in the wet. So still with no power, we managed sort of reasonable 54, brought it in, checked tyre pressures, went out for a full send, sort of Hail Mary again, see what we can do. And yeah, managed enough 53.6, which again isn't fast. It was a little bit damper, so for the conditions, not bad. The cool air helped keep the car cooler, which meant that I could basically keep going round rather than it overheating super quick. So even when it did get a bit hot, I was able to cool it down, check the tyre pressures and go back out and do a few more laps, which again, other than a mistake on the last corner, we were another 4 temps up, and then I just outbraked myself, stuffed it all up, and just ended up with the time that we got. So the optimal was the second half faster, which is again amazing considering no power. So we're just going to try fix it, as always, properly, full engine back in, proper suspension back on, back to full health for the next round, so that we can bring it back to them, because we've been struggling a bit in the last couple of rounds. And to come away with P3 again is amazing. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought we'd absolutely got no chance this round. And third in quali, third in the final. Just pipped to third as well. Right at the end, I was second, and then Stu had me by like a tenth or something on the last lap. But fair play to him, well deserved. And yeah, let's just bring on the next one, which is Donington Park, I think. So see what that brings. Like, share, and subscribe, yeah? Like.